Hey, this is Dan King from BibleDude.net, and got Jeremy Horn with us today, and just recently signed with Ardent Records, right? Is that right,
Yeah,
Jeremy?
sure did.
How you doing?
Yeah,
How you doing today, first of all?
I'm doing awesome, man. I feel high tech. I guess I would call myself a high tech redneck right now. I'm on the worldwide internet having an interview, and I can see you. This is my first Skype experience, actually, folks. So,
Very cool. I'm
yeah,
happy to be here with you. Um, so let's talk a little bit here, Jeremy. Titles and accomplishments aside,
yeah.
who is Jeremy Horn? What would you like for people to know about who you are?
You know, I always feel weird talking about myself. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm that interesting to talk about, but I guess if you took away all the stuff and worship pastor and musician and all that stuff aside, I mean, I would really. I'm married, I got a beautiful wife that we'll have been married 7 years this July, and we have two little boys. One's got the oldest is his name is Judah. He's 4, and I have an 18-month-old named Liam. And people always asking me where you got the name Liam, and I'll tell you, from the lead singer of Oasis. Remember Oasis, the band Oasis? His name was Liam. I always thought it was a super cool name. So.
Nice.
They're at home, and so I'm busy doing that with my life. That's what I'm usually doing when I'm not being a worship pastor, full-time worship pastor at a church and a touring musician. I'm usually trying to be a parent and a husband. So, I'm just a normal guy, I'm always just trying to do the same stuff everybody is and trying to figure this whole Jesus thing out and live by grace and all that stuff, man. So that's me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I checked out your website, and I know on your website you've shared about how your involvement in the early stages of really a major move of the Holy Spirit eventually led you to becoming a full-time worship pastor where you're at.
Yeah, yeah.
How has that experience shaped you, who you are as a worship leader, and how you lead others into really authentic worship?
Sure. That was 12 years ago now. Can you believe that? It was 98, 99 that was happening at a church, and I sort of just got involved in. To think back that far back and think about, the Holy Spirit movement, I think the main thing that affected me as a leader is just the opportunity to begin to lead.
Right.
I always tell a lot of guys that I know that are aspiring to be worship leaders or be musicians, the only way to get proficient at something is just to do it.
Right.
And it's almost like you got to get thrown in the fire. You've got to put a 15-year-old kid in front of people and say, "Hey, it's on the line. You got to do it right now." You got to, the pressure's there. And so, really, as a leader, it helped me to, just be prepared and get used to doing it and be in front of people and leading people and be able to just follow the Holy Spirit and hear what He's saying and at that moment. Because worship leading is not just, hey, let me pick a few songs and let me, just sing some songs and have people sing with me. You kind of have to be sensitive to the Holy Spirit. Sometimes think, He wants to do different things or, you know what I mean? Yeah. I could expound. This is a great example. There was an old worship leader named Kent Henry. He was an integrity guy. And he was doing a live recording one night, and this is a great story. He was doing a live recording, and he felt like the Holy Spirit told him to sing a different song that wasn't on the list. And he's doing a live recording, and so he's having this dialogue with the Holy Spirit, like, okay, if I do one of yours, can we do one of mine? You know what I mean? Kind of as a joke, like, bantering with the Holy Spirit. And it's just kind of true. You just follow the Holy Spirit. Sometimes you go off the page, and that kind of been my experience. So let the Holy Spirit just flow through me, and that's really in my leading,
That's great. That's great. So what would you tell somebody, whether it's a musician or really anybody else, about following the lead of the Holy Spirit?
Well, I mean, I think, without getting too, theological or philosophical, the Holy Spirit, the Bible tells us He's our teacher. He's the one who instructs us in the process of our sanctification and becoming more like Jesus. And, I would just tell them, cultivate your heart. Let the Holy Spirit do His work in your heart. Like I said, without being super theological, the Holy Spirit's there to discipline us and to give us grace to be able to overcome things and allow that to happen. Work on your craft, but also work on your heart, and that's, that's what the Holy Spirit's there to do,
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So you've got a new album come out in the fall with Ardent Records.
Yep.
What do you think people will be able to expect from you as an artist on that album?
Well, my past albums have been really kind of worship based. This songs, and this album has a lot of that. But I'm also the kind of guy that I don't like just write exclusively worship songs all the time. Sometimes you think you're writing a corporate worship song, and it's not quite what you expected when it's finally done and you put it all together. And this album has a mixture of corporate worship songs, but it also has just sort of like some poppier songs that are still worship based, but they're more personal worship. And so I saved a lot of these songs because we just finished a live record that we did that's all corporate worship. I feel like you could probably do every single song in a corporate setting and it's going to work. This is a mixture of both personal worship and corporate worship songs. And so I saved a lot of those songs for this record because I knew it was going to be a studio record. It's going to be a little bit more of a rock and roll kind of record. It's definitely more big guitar, big drum driven, and what we call big dumb rock, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, that's my kind of music right there, man.
Yeah, and you just don't overthink it. I mean, in your mind you think, what's an 18-year-old boy gonna like? You know what I mean? Yeah. I know that sounds funny, but we didn't think about it too much. But that's kind of what you can probably expect from this record. A much more big sounding record. It's just really big,
Awesome. Well, cool, man. I'm looking forward to that. So you're going to share a song with us today, right?
Yeah.
What song are you going to do, and what can you tell us about the song before you play it for us?
I think I'm going to do a song called "Where You Are," and it's probably the oldest song that I've written for the record. It's a song that I just wrote one night, and I got to be honest with you, I wrote it super fast. I used to be in a band with a bunch of buddies of mine back when we were teenagers, and maybe when I was like 25 or 26, we decided to get this wild hair like, let's shock everybody and get back together and record a 5-song EP. So in my mind, I think literally in one night, please, songwriters, do not judge me for this. I think I wrote like 4 or 5 songs in one night so we could try to go into the studio in the next few days and record all these songs. Now that doesn't make for very good songs usually, but like out of the 5 songs that I wrote, this one song stuck around. And I had this demo for forever, and I played it for a few people, and people were like, "Man, I love that. You got to record it." And I was like, "No, man, I didn't even..." Like, that's like rule number 1 of songwriting. You don't ever take a first draft of a song and record it. But that's not what happened. I actually went back and worked on it a little bit. But from what the song's about kind of is just asking the Lord, man, hey, I want more of you. I want to be where you are. And I think that's kind of a figurative way of saying, take me to the place where I am content in you, where you are, and that you're sufficient for me. And it's a little bit of an abstract way of thinking about it. But it's I got poetic license, right? I can have a song. It's a personal worship song, so yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, man. So you want me to play it for you?
Yeah, let's rock, man.
I'll try to let you guys see this guitar a little bit. You can kind of see me. I am actually playing. I'm not lip syncing. So give it a try here.
Cool.